Hey guys, it's Andy Bennett. Happy half hour number 7. We got an awesome guest coming on soon. He's having some technical difficulties, so we're waiting on him. But in the meantime, happy half hour, as you know, is brought to you by Intox-Detox, all natural science-based hangover remedies. Full disclosure, that is my company. But the reason we come on here is to kind of share happiness, enjoy, and love, and a few drinks and toasts. And we have a lot of fun, but we don't talk about politics, and we share what unites us instead of what divides us. So we'll get to our guest here in just a second. He should be popping in any moment. I wanted to share with you guys a drink recipe, so I'm going to go ahead and post that up. Every show I share a drink recipe, and they're usually kind of lower sugar drinks, which is my specialty. I love to make low sugar cocktails that you don't know are low sugar because they taste so darn good. I also go right ahead and I put my Intox-Detox right into the cocktail so that you're also avoiding the hangover, protecting your liver while you're enjoying that cocktail. I'm going to post it up now. I call this drink the lemon mic drop recipe because it's that good. It's just drop the mic good. Girls love it. Men love it. It's strong. It's not your typical, frou-frou bar Louie, not to call anybody out, but it's not your typical frou-frou kind of cocktail. It's legit. So here's what I call it. I call it the lemon mic drop, in case you didn't get that. And I'm going to put the ingredients and the way to make it into the comments. So check that out. Hopefully it pops in there nicely and not so ugly as the last time I did it. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's all broken up. I think it looks better in the comments if you check it out there. To everybody watching so far, thanks for joining us early. We are having a couple technical difficulties with our guest, my buddy Glenn Lawrence, who actually went to high school with me. Great guy. He's a stand-up comedian and a talented one. So I'm looking forward to getting him on here. He'll be popping in any second now. But grab that drink recipe, copy it, make it for your friends. Warning, if you make it, you are going to become the full-time bartender, as I have been at many a party. It's a strong drink. It's all natural. It's very low sugar. I'll talk you through the ingredients real quick just while we're waiting. Filler, but not so much because a lot of times I don't explain how to actually make these drinks. So you want to take 2 to 3 ounces of vodka to start with. You got 1 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice, or I usually buy store-bought, but organic lemon juice, not from concentrate. The trick to avoiding the hangover, protecting your liver, is the 1 ounce of Happier Hours or Cure simple syrup. So I have a separate recipe for that. I'll share it in the comments as well. But to make your simple syrup, you can actually take your Happier Hours capsules, which I had to do because I was in a rush today. I had to take my Happier Hours capsules and just dump them right into my simple syrup mix. And so I'm using Truvia sweetener for my simple syrup, or any stevia-based sweetener will do, because it's basically adding the sweetness to your drink without all the sugar. And I'm putting the hangover cure right into it. You can either do that with our cocktail additive, which you just scoop and make your simple syrup, or you can actually take the capsules, open them right up. It sounds shady, but you open them up, you dump them in, and you mix it up in with your sweetener, and it works just as well that way. The cocktail additive mixer, that we call it the Cure, and for obvious reasons, because it will cure what ails you. Cure with a Q. But that is made to be super soluble, so it mixes way easier in water. But the capsules can work just as good. So if you buy our Happier Hours product, boom, open it right up, and it mixes right in to your cocktails. I recommend that you mix it like a typical simple syrup with your sweetener and with hot water first. And then you make your cocktails with ice. So even if your simple is hot to start out with, it's not the end of the world. I'm dropping my notes. I'm falling all over myself. Man, it was a crazy hectic day. I've been going since I went to the gym at like 5 a.m. I have not stopped all day. It's been crazy. My daughter had soccer practice, but we all have crazy lives, so you don't need to hear all about mine. Still waiting on Glenn here, but I was finishing talking you guys through that recipe, which is the 2 to 3 ounces vodka, 1 ounce fresh squeezed lemon juice. I was explaining how to make the 1 ounce of Cure Simple syrup. I like 1 to 3 dashes of orange bitters. I think it makes the drink delicious. It's kind of like adding triple sec to your drink. And then I put 2 drops of Madhava Agave 5. The agave taste, it's 5 calories per serving, agave 5, but it adds a great taste. And then you do a lemon garnish. You throw that all in a shaker, shake it up real good, and you got your drink. Pour it into a glass, and you come up with something that looks something like this. Delicious. Have a little sip here. I'm sad. I don't want Glenn to miss our toast here. I don't know what's going on with him. But we're probably going to, there's Kevin. We'll talk to Kevin real quick. That'll waste some time while we're waiting for Glenn to pop in. Just say, hey, Kev. So for anyone that's just joined us, we are waiting. Oh, Glenn is popping in right now. So we're going to jump right into it and make it a little awkward for him. But you know what? Hey, he's good under pressure. So we're not going to worry about him.
What's up, no, good under pressure.
Yeah, buddy.
What's funny? This whole thing, like when I first started, it popped up and it gave me a pre-populated name, and it was computer person, and I'm like, that's really apt for someone who couldn't figure out how to get my camera to work.
Computer person, okay. When I opened it up, it said square ass white guy that can't dance. So.
Nice. How you doing?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Sorry for the hair. It's my apocalypse hairstyle. I just want everybody to know that things are serious out here. And we might not make it.
Glenn, you still have hair. Look at this guy. Look at this stuff. Look at this.
You know what? I did not know you didn't have hair anymore.
Man, it went fast. It's like between 33 and 40, everything just went nuts.
Look, when you have the hat on, you look like college student. When you take it off, you look like dad bod.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I know. Well, and why are you apologizing for your hair, man? I mean, everybody, we're all in the same boat here. You should see my pubes.
Oh, okay. All right. Way to start the show.
It's that kind of show. As I told you, very informal, just have fun, say anything you want, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so how have you been during this year, man? I mean, it's like the most boring year ever, right?
It seems pretty exciting. It seems like there's a lot happening.
There's a little bit happening, yeah.
I've been fine. I've been good sitting around trying to figure out how to be funny, if I should be funny. Just a lot of thinking, a lot of soul searching, a lot of reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with because I have a girlfriend now, reconnecting with her to some degree, reconnecting with family, just kind of reconnecting, reset, all that type of thing. It's been good. I mean, personally, I hurt for all the people who are hurting, in the country.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, I'm doing all right and still trying to bring light, love, and laughter to those I know.
That's exactly what we're trying. Where's my thing? That's exactly what I'm trying to do, man. Through this is just connect with people that I like, just people I like. And also my original concept was, of course, I'm promoting Intox-Detox, but I also wanted to eventually get some like brewers and distillers like in the alcohol industry, in my industry, that could come on and talk about their products, because a lot of them are hurting because of a lot of the restrictions and stuff. So
yeah. Well, it's not this has really affected a lot of people. I have a company, it's called Level Up Comedy, and we've been affected. Yeah, we haven't been able to put on shows. At first it was because of the mandate, and then it got more into the thing of is it responsible for me to put on a show? So I'm still kind of wrestling with that, trying to figure out if it's the responsible thing to do. There's a lot of people who are already doing it. I'm still trying to figure out if I could handle if someone got sick at my show, or if there's an outbreak at my show. Not only the liability, just knowing that, hey, I could have made another decision and there wouldn't have been a whole outbreak, and I just have seen that this thing kind of explode. Like if it doesn't happen, then everything's fine. But if it does happen, it tends to like explode, and it could be really bad. That's what I've heard from nurses. That's what I heard from people who are in New York or whatnot. So I've really, as a business owner, you got to make different decisions than just the normal person. Like, hey, I want to go to the bar,
Sure. And I think for me, it's been it's different because we've always been e-commerce focused. So like for me, it's a little different in the sense that e-commerce is like really doing well right now, you know, so
it's almost weird to like talk about the windfall. You're like, this is actually pretty good.
No, but I'm not, but I don't feel bad about it in the sense that we had a rough time. Like it actually wasn't good for us at first. And it's still, our sales are actually still down over a normal year. So
that's probably just because I haven't been buying, because I used to be a big support. Like I was purchasing pretty regularly, you know, because I used to drink a lot more. And I will tell you what, Intox-Detox definitely works. I feel like it's sorcery. I think I posted this as one of my my feedback or my what's it called, the success story testimonial.
It's still all over my pages because it's one of the best feedbacks. Well,
it feels like sorcery. It's like you go out, you get hammered, and then you wake up the next morning and there's no side of it. I'm like, there's something wrong with this. This should not be able to happen. But it's science, and I trusted you, which is why I actually tried it at first, because I know you or whatnot, and then the product worked, and then I was like, okay, this is kind of amazing. I'm gonna go with it. If you know, hopefully there's no crazy side effects like way down the line. But from all the testing you guys done, I felt very secure that this is a product that works and is super useful to my drunken life at the time.
Well, and the backstory is that, you know, I spent a long time doing this, and the guy that worked with us is like, I got to give him most of the credit because he's like a genius for supplement formulation, and he does everything by the book. Like, so we learned right out of the gate to do everything by the book and do everything science and like not cut any corners. So that's one of the reasons that, you know, I mean, aside from the fact that, you know, the hangover remedy market is still kind of launching onto like the national stage. It's not quite known very well. Let's put it this way. It's not 5 Hour Energy, but, but the reason I'm not a gajillionaire yet, aside from that fact, is because we spend so much money doing things the right way, you know? And so like, if I cut corners, I could have made a ton more money by just like not caring about purity and manufacturing and all the things that you should do right in the industry. So,
you know, that's one of the things that I really appreciated about your product, you know, is that, it like when I ordered it, like, you know, it was sent from you guys. Like you could tell somebody, like someone like actually packaged it and sent it off. It's, you know, it's a real ground up type of business. And, you know, just from doing this comedy thing, trying to, you know, run my own business, I have a whole new respect for people who are business owners and who try to start businesses. Like, oh, this is
for sure,
this is like super difficult. This is what is so hard about it when you're trying to build your own thing, you know?
I hate to interrupt you, man, because I want to. I do want to get into all that. I have some questions for you about like how you got started and all the stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, they're not too hard. I'll save the real zingers for last. But but just because we're not your fault, the technical issues happen, but we're a little off our format. I just want to do a toast real quick with everybody. That's
absolutely
and you. So that's what I usually do. I usually start with a toast, and then we'll get a little deeper into some more stuff because I'm really interested in stand up, and shame on me, I haven't even seen you because we'll get into all that. But
yeah, I'll give you hell for it in just a second.
You should. So the toast that I have, and I always do different toasts. This is from a comedian, so I thought it was appropriate. It goes like this: when I read about the evils of drinking, I gave up reading. That's Henny Youngman. So cheers to Henny Youngman. That's a pretty funny quote there. Everybody watching, have a drink. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why I'm super interested in stand-up. Number one, you may not know this about me. You know that I was in California doing screenwriting and doing film industry stuff for a while. And when you're a sad, broke, hungry screenwriter, all your friends are sad, broke, hungry stand-up comedians. So, So I spent a lot of time watching these guys and girls. Like some of them have gone on to be somewhat successful. Others of them have not. So one of the things that I find really intimidating about it is, number one, to see how even the best, most talented of them will have an off night and just totally bomb. And it's like, wow. Like, I mean, I've seen people just like crush a room, and then I
Yeah.
seen that same person get destroyed by another room, you know.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things to me is like for you, what was it like kind of getting up there the first time? How'd you get started with it?
Well, luckily, I've never bombed. You know, I've always gone and crushed. So that's been great.
Of course, yeah, right.
No, it's you know, the funny thing about it, I have a picture of myself getting onto a stage way before I started, right? And it's like, oh, I'm gonna be up there. And my friend was like, well, visualize, go do it. Took the picture, forgot about it. Years later, I end up, you know, start performing, doing this thing. And really it was kind of a culmination of just life experiences, just led me to say, you know, what is something that I want to do. And I happen to be coming home one day, and I went to a comedy show and I was talking shit to the guy in the elevator, like, yeah, man, I'm thinking about doing stand-up. And this guy happened to just be like, yeah, I used to do stand-up too. We should write together and let's do it. And then it kind of
Nice.
it almost like was, you know, the universe speaking to me like, hey, stop talking about it, be about it. So I took the challenge, and then we started writing together, and then practicing, and then finally I got on stage. So for me, it wasn't as bad to begin with because I did so much writing and practicing before my first time. Now, first time was still terrible. I looked at the tape again and I was like, oh, you bombed that night. But I felt it went really well because like one or two people laughed like
Right.
2 or 3 times. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I'm on top of the world. But it's really interesting when you go back, and now that I have like kind of a little bit more skill in doing it, and I can kind of see, you know, read a room a little bit better, and I've seen people who are, you know, masters at the game do like crush a room. You know, it's been different. It's, you know, everything they're crushing, they see somebody who really crushes, and then you're like, oh, oh. You're like, oh yeah, I did really good, and it's like, yeah, you did fine. Then you get like a actual like headliner who comes out and just destroys the room, and you're like, oh, so that's what it's supposed to sound like.
That's what it's right. Okay, yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So it wasn't intimidating because I practice. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like what is it like? You practice a bunch of times and then you cut once or something. You know?
Yeah, well, my thing has always been, you know, because like you know, I was big into playing soccer and like even screenwriting or anything you do, man, or working out. It's like it's the repetition more than like you gotta have like there's talent and then there's like the matrix, right? Of like talent versus like the repetitions, you know, and
right.
I think that is never more important than what I've seen with the people that I've been around that are stand-ups. That it's like, man, I mean, like some of them are just so talented. And like, I'll give you an example. I saw, I used to hang with the crowd, and I'm not name dropping because I don't really know him very well, but I was friends with friends of Brian Callen before he was like, before Hangover. And like before Hangover, like he was a good stand-up, and people knew him, but like he wasn't a national household name in any sense. And me and my buddy, Kobe Toland, who I don't know if you know, he went to Parkview.
Probably not. I came here like halfway through high school, so I didn't know a lot of all the people from like.
Well, anyway, Brian Callen just crushed us. Like I didn't even know who he was. And he just had like this whole series of like, all he talked about is like, he comes out and he's like, my hair's bullshit. He's like, my hair sucks. And he builds up this whole thing of like how he's going to improve himself, and he's going to like have a falcon, and he's going to have like a mane down to his ass. Like he's going to have all these great things. He just destroyed the place. And then I was like, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. And then someone was like, he's in The Hangover. I was like, what? I was like, so it was, those success stories are one thing. And then there's other people that I knew that I thought were even more talented that honestly, they're not doing much right now. So, you know, it's heartbreaking to see and that kind of thing, you know.
Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of like with everything. One part of it is who you know, obviously, and like kind of luck of the draw. You end up in a room with somebody else, and the next thing you know, it's like, hey man, you know, come on, tour with me or whatever. So that is a thing that happened. But the thing about stand-up is it's just the repetition of doing it over and over and over and over again for years and years and years, and then you never know when that opportunity will present itself to that'll be the thing that elevates you, you know, because there's people who have been doing it for 20 years and all of a sudden, boom, they pop and it's the next big thing.
Sure.
And then there's people who have been doing it for a very short, like I believe Tracy Morgan got like SNL like after like 2 years of doing stand-up or something like that.
Right.
She's a naturally funny person. And then you get someone like I think who like Kevin Hart or something. Like he was like 15 years or something. He was doing it for, you know, a crazy long amount of time before
like grinding.
Superstar. And there's so many there's as you know, there's so many like talented local comedians. If I could say that to anybody, to all the people watching your show, I don't know how many people are watching, go see a local stand-up show, preferably a Level Up comedy show once we start doing them again. But go see a local stand-up comedy show because there's a lot of local talent that is being cultivated in your cities, and you could get to see these people before they, you know, go on and do amazing things. And they need it. We need it. Stand-ups need it. We need the reinforcement. So
yeah, and that kind of I was gonna touch on something that, you know, maybe a little. I've heard this from some stand-up guys in the industry, and so this is a little bit of a harder question, but you know, I know you got this, but do you find it like, I know you haven't been at it because of the COVID shutdowns and stuff, but how do you feel like in the current like culture and like we stay off politics, but there's a lot of real division in this country. Do you feel that it's like harder to get up and tell jokes and without being afraid of offending people?
I personally, so when I go on stage, I tend to want the people who are there to have a good time, you know?
Right.
I mean? So a lot of times, you know, I may have a set or whatever, but I'm always willing to like scrap it to go along with, you know, the people. I'm only there for a short amount of time.
Sure.
You know, I'll probably be going up again, and I want the people to have a good time. Now, when you start doing bigger clubs or whatever, they kind of want to know what you're going to say, and you kind of don't deviate. So written jokes usually are a little bit easier to not offend. You know, once you start kind of playing with the crowd is when you can offend, right? Because you're getting off script. And my personal opinion is when you write a joke, there's always going to be a target.
Sure.
There's always a target. But if the joke is well crafted, even the target laughs at the joke. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
That's the thing. And that's the thing about being good, because you can say something that's funny and be hurtful to someone's feelings, or, you know, but I don't think personally, I want everybody to enjoy. Like, I don't want someone to be the butt of the joke the entire night and not be having fun. Like that's bullying to me.
Sure.
Some people have a different opinion. They want to say what they say, and they think the thing that they say is the most important and it's funny, regardless of who it harms or whatever. I don't know what the right way to do it is, but I feel like there needs to be more love in the world from people who are receiving comedy as well as people who are doing it. And I think that would solve a lot of problems.
Absolutely, I agree. And I guess for me, it's like I always gravitate and I've always loved and there are many different styles of like of stand-up, sort of the persona you create, right? It's like kind of who you are on stage. And I always gravitate towards the more edgy, you know, I just like edgy, dirty jokes and stuff like that. But I mean, it seems like I guess my point is, it seems harder to be that edgy guy, that edgy persona, guy, girl, in a current climate. And but
for certain. But I think the problem is it's one that is basically everyone's in kind of a tight spot right now, you know, like,
yeah,
it's a lot easier to laugh and joke when you don't feel like you're being pressed or confined, or, you know, like,
sure.
Like if you were going through like a divorce or something, right? And then I make a joke about you and your wife, that's going to hit a lot differently than if you guys are okay, right?
Sure.
Or anything. So I think right now there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people coming from all sides. LGBTQ community feels like they're getting a lot of pressure. The Black community for sure thinks that they're getting a lot of pressure. The Hispanic community, like a lot, white people even feel like they're getting a lot of pressure from all sides are being.
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel great.
You feel good, huh? Yeah, but I mean, as you can see,
I'm kidding, man.
there's a lot of white people in the streets who are like, us too. I feel like the thing that's crazy to me is like, I feel like we finally got equality, but it's just everybody is miserable. Like that's the equality.
Yeah, we're all equally miserable and pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. Now everyone's all rah. But I think once we kind of get back to caring for one another, community caring for one another, and really really making sure that people are okay and not kind of like lip service and kind of ignoring people who are struggling. I think we'll get back to a point where people are laughing more freely. You know what I mean? When things are abundant, when love is there and resources are there, you know you can feed your family and you're happy. You're much more willing to listen to an off-color joke or something like that because things are okay. Like it's all right. I know that's not what they really mean.
I also
pressure coming from all sides. It's like I don't know if that guy really means that, and he's adding to the pressure that I feel in my life. I'm going to say something.
I also think to your point, you're saying, look, I'm walking into a room. There's people there. They came to have a good time. They came to laugh. Like, you got to read that room and like you were saying, kind of gather the feedback and see, okay, this hit, this didn't hit. Like basically, I like the fact that you're saying, look, I'm coming in there to make these people happy and feel joy and happiness and love. And like, these are all positive things. And, so, I mean, that's kind of an art. It's kind of an art and a science all in one of like, yeah, you got to write a joke. It's formulaic, but then you also got to deliver it and you got to read that feedback to see, is this crowd digging it? Are they not? Do you need to go in a different direction? But I mean,
the thing that's hard about this whole situation is usually you have a lot of practice swings, right? You have open mics that you can go to. And DC was very fortunate to be one of the cities that had a great comedy scene, actually one of the best. And it was kind of birthing a lot of really good comics. And I personally know a bunch of comics who were basically on the ledge to walk into the door to like success. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like they were about to get, deals and stuff, like quite a few of them. And now they're like home, you know what I mean? And they're not able to do that, and it kind of sucks, like we're all trying to find our way. And the thing is, when you have a lot of open mic time, you can practice a lot, and then you're much less likely to shoot a stray bullet. You're much more likely to hit your target on your joke when you have like a lot of practice, so
sure.
That's the tough part.
Also, you keyed on something that maybe not everybody knows. A lot of people that watch are my friends and customers, but Glenn and I actually went to high school in Northern Virginia outside of Washington, D.C. So, yeah. So to your point,
Andy was a bully, but he didn't bully me. I just saw him bully other people, and then I tried. No, I'm just joking. He was a sweetheart. He's still the same guy that you see here.
I don't know if I don't have a bully streak in my body. Maybe on a soccer field, like if you got in my way, like that's a different story.
I played football. I was a football guy. You know what I mean?
No. So that's one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't kick. I should have been kicking field goals, man. I mean,
we could have used you. We lost a lot of games because
of our kicker. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I saw some of those losses.
Probably there. I didn't get to play a lot. There was a whole thing with the coach, and then he didn't like me. It was really it's one of those things. But I'm glad that it happened because it made me switch my focus to a lot of other things. And now you see me telling these jokes out here. By the way, I haven't even given you shit for not coming to any shows. Why haven't you been to any shows? I invited you to so many. We have planned to do things, and you blew me off every time. Why?
Well, I mean. I can give you a lot of BS excuses. None of them are going to be good enough. Trust me. But it's been for one, I've only gotten back to Virginia in the last 3 years. But yeah, that's 3 years of excuses.
Doing comedy for the last 4 years. So,
Right. Well,
like you said, not a great excuse.
Listen, I'm telling you honestly that it's my mistake that will be corrected as soon as humanly possible. Awesome. But I had a couple more minor questions for you if you got a little time here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Eagles are probably losing right now, so whatever. Well, I'll be here.
I mean, I'm one of those Washington football team fans, so
What do you think about that? What do you think about the name change, huh?
Oh, I'm trying not to comment. I mean, I just wish they had prepared better. I think we agree on that.
I think that's what's so crazy. It's like, so you had no preparation for this. You had no idea that this might be a thing that happened with so many people angry. The climate of the country. No plan.
I think we both. I don't want to call anybody out, but I think we both commented on a post from somebody we went to high school with, and we were agreeing that, like, you know, like, whatever. I mean, I don't want to get into the issue of, is the name right? Is it offensive? Is it not? Fine. Let's just assume it is and it's gone. Okay. But my problem is, you're running an NFL team like it's a damn high school science project. You didn't have a backup. You didn't have a backup name. Like this is like the night before it's due, and you're like making up the data at the the science project is due.
It's like if you have a girlfriend or a wife, you know, and she says something about something that you do, like that should be a key. Hey, I might want to look into you know, like some type of preparation for that, because it seems like she's a little bit. I learned that from being divorced. That's what I was like, oh man, I probably should have keyed on some of those statements that she was making and been prepared. So I was just very surprised, because it's not like it's the first time anybody mentioned it, you know. It's like,
right.
What do we do?
So my bigger point is, it's just very typical of the organization, and it almost defends your choice, illogical as it may be, to be an Eagles fan, but but the whole division is such a joke right now. It's like I
think this might be the first time in NFL history that a team wins the division and gets the first pick overall.
That would actually be hilarious, you know. And at what point do we all just start losing games on purpose in the second half of the season?
Tank for Trevor Lawrence. That's what we're gonna do. All right, go ahead. You had a question for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, I got a couple ones. And actually, this is just something that I'm really interested in, because it interests me, because and I've told you before, I'm jealous. I've wanted to do stand-up comedy. I've always wanted to do it. So that's one of my goals.
You're sad being a screenwriter. Don't become a comedian.
No, but
screenwriting's so much more glamorous.
Writers, you know, we live off of the sadness. It's like part of what we need. Like, we need the rejection in some weird way. But no. So my question was, who are, like, everybody's got them. Like, who are big inspirations for you in comedy that you really like, just made you want to do it?
Oh man, so there's so many. Like, I could just stick in DC and talk about just DC comedians who are amazing, that make me want to do it. But I would have to say, like, before I started, obviously, you know, like Dave Chappelle or Wanda Sykes are super hilarious. Patton Oswalt I always like, because I'm a nerd like him, and you know, he's really cool. And even Mike Birbiglia, he's like a storyteller, and I saw his special for like a few of his specials for the first time. I was just like, this is hilarious. Like, this guy is just telling a story, and it's great. I wish I could do that. But someone who's outside of like the DC realm, Joan Rivers, I really like Joan Rivers. She did it up until like the day she died. She was like 90,
right?
And she was
still
whip smart and on it. So you know, her obviously, she's hilarious. But I guess probably the first person I ever saw was Eddie Murphy, watching Raw and just seeing him when he did the little skit at the beginning where he's like, and the doo-doo monster, and he's doing that in front of all his people. And I was that age when I was like watching it. You know, obviously my parents were like, whatever, watch whatever you want. But I'm watching like Eddie Murphy.
It was the 80s. Yeah. Nobody cared.
But yeah, nobody cared. But I'm watching him be like a young kid and talk about how he was entertaining all these people, and that kind of led him to now being on stage and doing it. And I didn't realize in my mind that that made an impression on me until later when I started doing stand-up. And I don't know, it's like it was always apparent, like, oh, why wasn't I just always doing, like, I've been doing this for a long time, you know, like you saw the pictures that I would post with Intox-Detox. I'm out hanging out, partying, making friends just wherever I go and everything. And then once I first did stand, I was like, oh, like, that's a marketable skill. Like, actually going somewhere and entertain and making people laugh and having fun is a marketable skill. And so, you know, it just made me remember all these people that I used to watch and why I enjoyed it so much, but at the time didn't really realized I enjoyed it. But the thing about Mike Birbiglia is like it made me really think about how to craft a story when you're doing your comedy. So there's some comics who are like, okay, I'm gonna do a setup punchline. And I'm like, listen, I'm in a room, it's me, it's you, I'm on stage here. Listen to funny shit that happened to me the other day, type of vibe is, I guess, how I would explain it. So
again, and just going back to bare basics is like, at the end of the day, there are no rules. It's just make the people laugh, make the people happy, so
well, I mean, there are once you do it, there is nuance, there are rules to it, and you'll understand once you if you ever were to begin it. But there are certain things that you got to make sure you do. Now, one thing that I took with me from my civilian life into comedian life is learning how to like control a room. And I got that from actually starting a couple riots on accident. Like, just by, the power of my voice, Vox City. I don't know if you ever heard that. I was a yoga instructor. One of the tenets in yoga that I learned is called Vox City. It's like the power of your voice. That means anything, like you can really move people with your voice. And before I started doing comedy, I started a couple riots. But doing comedy, it's like, oh, I learned that I am right now in control of this room and I can change the temperature. You know what I mean? Like make it like hotter for one person, cool it off or whatever. And all of that goes into like you're doing jokes. So, it might just be, okay, I'm a stand-up punchline here, but I take it more of a, let me control this motherfucker. Okay, this guy, he's being crazy over here. Let me like, get him back on board. And now here's my joke and whatnot.
Are you familiar? And I know in the world of stand-ups that, guys that can crush hecklers are like superheroes, right? Like, have you heard of a guy named Sam Tripoli?
Yeah, I've heard of Sam. Yeah.
So he was in the group of people I hung out with back in Los Angeles, and that guy, I mean, he would just destroy hecklers in a way that like you would feel bad for the heckler, like he was that good. But
it's so funny, and I just feel like personally, I think I need to get over this. Is usually I'm kind of like somebody is heckling, they probably had a bad day.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens. And the crazy thing is they'll think they're helping. Like I had one guy heckle me, and I I didn't really crush him. I was kind of nice and gracious with it. I ribbed him a little bit or whatever, and people laughed and they were getting on him, and then I got the heat off him. But then after he's like, oh man, I totally needed that. Like I had such a bad day. My wife is leaving me and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh shit, he had it way better.
Oh, wow.
He had it worse than I am. No wonder he was out here trying to,
So
so it's like sometimes they just want to be on the spot, and I usually try to diffuse those situations with love. That's just how I know it's corny. People hate that. They're like, no, fucking crush that guy. And I'm like, come on, I'm happy up here. Let me help this guy.
And to your point, maybe he's had the worst day of his life. You crush him, and he goes on a murder spree, or like I mean,
right.
Like he goes like Michael Douglas falling down,
right. It's like, I can't even get any respect when I'm heckling.
Which you did say that I think it should be your log line, the voice that starts riots,
It was an accident. This was back when I was in like college or something, like 20 something years ago. And it was like I had been drinking moonshine, and I walked out.
I'm a fan, but yeah, you say the damnedest things.
Right. This was before Intox-Detox too. So I was setting myself up for trouble all around. And I walked outside, and then my girlfriend had walked in front of me. And it's almost like my mind took a leave of absence, right? And I said to this guy who was out there, "It's like, hey, why are you staring at my woman's tits?" Right? And he was just standing by. He was like, what?
Whoa,
and then it was like we started this whole thing, and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then it was like my mind came back, it was like, hey man, what are you doing? Why are you starting to fight? Yeah. And then it was funny because all these people started fighting around us, and then me and him are sitting and drinking a beer, looking like, damn, this is crazy. Like how all this whole, like it was like 3 floors of people fighting, and me and the guy who were the initial people who were arguing are just sitting back looking at everybody fight like, damn, this is this is really crazy right now. I wonder what happened. Why's everybody going wild?
Meanwhile, you guys are like, this place sucks. You want to go somewhere else?
Yeah, right. That's exactly what happened. And then we ended up leaving, and oddly enough, that's who my wife ended up with, that guy. No.
All right, so I want to keep my eye on the clock only because there is this minor debate coming up, and I don't want to drag into that just because it's people got things to do. But hey, man, there's a couple other things. Let's see. Obviously,
rapid fire. I said I'll keep them short. Rapid fire.
Yeah, no. It's and I'm not in a rush. Don't worry about me. I actually don't care. I don't care about any of it, but. I do try to keep things short, but it's so easy to talk to you. I mean, great. And we got a little delayed to start out, but that's okay.
Oh, no worries.
But obviously
talk to me. I got to grab this cable to so my battery doesn't die.
Oh, yeah. No. This is the disappearing Glenn Lawrence. He's invisible right now. No, so yeah, I'm sure I already know the answer, but you're obviously interested in potentially going on to do acting, film, TV. Have you done any? Have you had any opportunities yet?
Actually, I'm a director. I've directed quite I don't know, maybe 8 short films or whatever. I'm working on another one right now. So I really like writing. I really like directing, and producing. That's what happens when I've been doing all these shows, it's basically producing. So I'm starting to do that a little bit more. I would love to get in front of the camera. I think I don't know. I think I'd probably be a terrible actor. But we'll see.
I'm just showing Sarah's comment because she's drinking lemon drops like me with amaretto. That sounds pretty good. But it's funny is that
wait for her to shoot her shot just like in the middle of the shot. I don't care what y'all are saying. Hey, I'm drinking this lemon drop with amaretto, baby.
I just like when people post what they're drinking. I always show it when they do that. So,
nice. By the way, I'm drinking red wine because I
never got a chance to ask you. Yeah, red wine. What kind? Is it like a blend? Is it a Pinot Noir?
It's from
is it a Glen Noir?
It's Target. It's fancy. It's called Bockschwein. I don't know if you've ever had that before.
Bockschwein from the province in I think it's in the south of France. The Bockschwein Target.
Bockschwein Target, yeah, and it's Pinot Noir.
Fancy. No, I buy box wine.
Oh yeah, man. It's what
I'm not above it.
You got right now. I feel like you got to hoard. You got to bring get all your what you call it rations and supplies for the quarantine. So box wine came in very
like in The Walking Dead, whenever they find alcohol, how excited they are, like how great that is. That's where we're at right now. So yeah,
pretty much.
Almost. We're almost there.
I'm drinking some box wine.
All right, so I got another thing, which is I always do something a little fun called fact check. So these are just true or false questions for you. Okay. So it's not serious. Don't take it too seriously.
This is my serious face though, so it's too late. I'm already going to be serious.
Okay. We're being serious. Fact check. Charles Darwin's personal pet tortoise only died in the last 20 years. True or false?
Oh, that's 100% true.
That is true.
Yep.
Technically, she wasn't a pet, but after his tour of the Galapagos Islands, Darwin brought back a 5-year-old tortoise. Her name was Harriet. She outlived her adopter by 124 years. She died at 176 years old. She actually was, she lived with Steve the crocodile hunter.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. It's crazy that she survived that long. And then she died when she had to quarantine. She's like, I can't take the shell one day longer.
No, she died in 2006 though.
Oh, okay. Well, that was me not listening.
But she outlived him by 124 years. So,
Well, okay.
Go evolved to my ass, right. I'll take being well, it's pretty cool to be human. I don't know. It's a debate. It's a debate to be had. Okay, true or false? The average person will spend 6 months of their life waiting for red lights to turn green.
6. I thought it was actually 5.5. I'll say false.
Well, It's true, but I guess we have different sources. But 5.5, 6 months. It sounds like somebody rounded up here.
I've run quite a few red lights, so maybe that's
okay.
My
So
average.
so you're living your best life. You're not. Yours is like cut in half. You're like 3 months of your life.
There you go.
So you know all about divorce apparently. Sorry.
It's a long time ago. I'm fine now.
True or false? True or false? 1 in 10 divorce filings include the word Facebook.
Oh shit. Is that a recent thing? That has to be. I would say that that's false, but it has to be true with how crazy things have gotten with social media.
It's kind of one of these trick questions because it's false, but it's actually 1 in 3.
Oh damn! All right. Okay.
Isn't that nuts? 1 in 3.
So is that technically I won that one because I did say false at the beginning?
Yeah, you get like a asterisk or something.
No, give me a whole point since you've never been to one of my shows. How about that?
All right. When I come to your show, I'm going to take the point back. Taking the point back. Okay. Norway is so safe it imports criminals to fill its jails. True or false?
I've heard that before. I'm gonna say it's true, but it's crazy because they did have one of the worst mass shootings that the world's ever seen.
Yeah, that's right. Well, when they fuck up, they fuck up big. It's actually false though. It's the Netherlands.
Oh, well, that's not the same country.
Norway and the Netherlands. No, not the same country.
What's Dutch? Isn't that one of those?
Dutch is Netherlands. Yeah, Netherlands is confusing. Netherlands, Holland, and Dutch is all the same thing.
Look, if they want me to make sure that I know that they're different, they're gonna have to dye their hair.
One name, yeah.
Like one has to go brunette. You all can't be blonde.
Right. They got the orange. They're like orange. Everything's orange, right? All right. So I got some. I call these sobering facts.
Okay,
facts.
Let me take one drink before I get sobered.
Okay. No, they're just facts that will potentially sober you up.
I got you.
But probably not. And these are just random facts that I find fascinating. Okay. The first one is Steady Ed Hedrick invented the Frisbee in the 1950s. And when he died, they actually made him into a Frisbee.
Shit, really?
Isn't that morbid? That's weird.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, can you imagine like your grandkids are out there like, hey, throw Grandpa Glenn over here.
Well, yeah. Why would it be a Frisbee? Like I've looked into becoming like a
tree
or a tree, but a Frisbee seems usually those end up in the attic, covered in dust.
Or in a dog's mouth or, whatever. I don't know.
Or upside down collecting rain.
Yeah. That seems like the most likely place for a Frisbee to end up.
Interesting. Okay.
I just thought you might appreciate this. The little dot over the lowercase j and I. Do you know what it's called? They don't teach this in school.
Nope, I don't.
It's called a tittle. A tittle. Tittle.
Oh, okay.
Very.
Okay. I'm really into tittles. I always cross my I's and dot my T's, so I love my
tittles. Well, yeah. I mean, usually they come in twos, so yeah, that's good. Last one. This is just gross. So anyone that eats fast food, you're probably going to stop. An average person's yearly fast food intake will include ingesting 12 pubic hairs.
Didn't know that. I stopped eating fast food a long time ago, so my diet of
good for you. Me too. I'm doing my best. Every once in a while with my daughter, we go through the drive-thru. Yeah, when I'm like, man, I got a hankering for some pubes and a Big Mac. Yeah.
Those are real curly fries.
Yeah. The original curly fries. All right, man. Well, I think this has been awesome, and I definitely want to have you back, but I don't like to bore people to tears. So,
people bored. I could talk for hours. You want to,
Oh, me too. Me too. And I would gladly do it, no doubt. But let's do one more toast and get out of here, and we'll do it again soon. How's that sound?
The only reason why I decided to come on this show is because I heard that there's a grab bag of Intox-Detox on the way for doing this show. Is that true? Is that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
No, but it's crazy. We'll do this last toast, but I just like I've hit you up multiple times about how I enjoy your product, love your product, and doing like a partnership, with what I do with comedy and the Intox-Detox. I hope that when all this is over, we could still do that because I really do believe in your product, and I really do believe in entrepreneurs and small business, and love what you're doing, bro.
I appreciate that, and we will, and I want to support yours too. So, I mean, is there like do you guys have like a site people can check out if they want to check out your thing?
Absolutely. You can check out Level Up Comedy. That's levelupcomedy.com. Level Up Comedy on the YouTubes, the Instagrams, the Twitters. And then Glenn Lawrence Comedy is me personally, and that's where I put a lot of just funny things that I, like to say and chit chat about. So if you want some jokes, I haven't been putting out as much content now, but I have some really thank you. I got some really cool things that I think are going to be coming up in the next month or two, hopefully before the end of the year. I really think people are going to enjoy checking these projects that I've been working on during quarantine out. So just stay tuned. Go ahead and sign in Level Up Comedy, get on our Level Up Damn, this wine is really taking effect. Sign in, Level Up Comedy, get on the mailing list, hit us up on Twitter or whatever. And keep on laughing and loving. That's the word of the day, man. Keep on laughing and loving. And whenever you see me, that's what I want to bring. Laughter and love, man.
Absolutely, and I think we will work together. And let's when those things start coming to fruition, when it starts to be more sensible to like start doing the shows again, we should get on here again and and definitely promote and try to get that partnership going for sure.
Let's do it, dude. I'm all about it, man. I like I said, I love what you're doing. I've gone around the world like selling your product. You know what I'm saying? Like I have definitely introduced like different populations to it that aren't just in America. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
I
appreciate that, man. I do. Let's get this last toast. I think you're gonna like. I think it's pretty funny too. And maybe you'll appreciate it. So this is, if you have a drink, go ahead and grab it. This is a good Irish toast. As you know, I'm one of these Irish people.
Right.
May you die in bed at 95 years, shot by a jealous husband.
Oh, nice. Cheers.
It's a nice little twist, right?
Right.
All right, Glenn, man. It's really great to catch up with you, and we'll do it again soon. Why don't you stay on for just a second? We'll chat off real quick a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you soon. We got another one coming up next week, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.